In Kentucky, we don't just take chances, we bet big. This month, I'm sitting down with 4 Kentuckians who made 4 bold moves and asking one question: what was the biggest bet that you ever took on yourself? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Town & Country Ford. No matter where life's adventures lead you, Town & Country Ford is along for the ride. When did the idea of the hobby of we should do this get out of the chat group and actually become a reality?
Honestly, I remember in, I think it was 6th grade, some presentation that the class did on entrepreneurs. And I remember watching that and thinking to myself, oh wait, my dad's an entrepreneur.
So what is the learning curve behind brewing, going from brewing in a bucket to a professional operation?
We'll bring our barrel stock up to this farm, invite all of our friends and regulars and family, and have a blending day. And so we quietly take notes on what the beer will taste like.
For this next episode, I'm taking you to Morehead, Kentucky, and I love these stories where people take a risk and a chance. And this is an idea in Morehead, Kentucky, where a group of friends were in their backyard enjoying a beer, and the conversation of, maybe we should start something really got the wheels turning, and they actually started a major business, the first brewery in their hometown, and taking on the task of doing that in one of the most historic buildings in downtown Morehead, Kentucky. I'm excited to welcome to the podcast Derek Caskey and Nick Holland, the founders of Sawstone Brewing Company. Thanks, guys. Welcome to the Best Bet.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Is that wild to hear when I'm saying the founders of Sawstone Brewing? I mean,
it is a little strange, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, as you said, it's crazy to think about where we are now when you think about where we started, actually just standing around and drinking beer as you do at that time. But I think the beer also helps you get that idea, like, we can do this.
We can do this.
Definitely do this. And then, we started brewing in buckets, and we started doing a thing called brew days, where once a month, and Blake, our other partner and founder.
This started so we're missing one of the founders.
Yeah,
Blake
right.
is your other founder.
Right.
And so how long have you all known each other?
So you and Nick and Blake have known each other their entire lives.
Since Blake moved here, in 3rd grade or something.
Yeah, and then
Everybody go to school together in Morehead?
So then everybody went to, once we were all in the same middle school.
Yeah.
And so we've known each other since middle school.
Oh, that's awesome.
And beyond.
And then through your adult years, continued to hang out
Oh, yeah.
and do these brew days once a month, which I think is what every core guy group wants to, that no matter what, guys, through the years, we are still going to get together and we're going to have a day. Yes. And so when you guys would get together for your brew days, when did the idea of the hobby of we should do this get out of the chat group and actually become a reality, where when somebody said to the other, okay, let's do this already?
So those monthly brew days, we were brewing in Blake's garage, and they quickly became this.
So you weren't opening a can of beer.
We were doing that too, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You're opening cans of beer, you're having beer, but you truly shared a love of let's brew beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were typically
In a bucket.
In a bucket. Once we got
Do it.
our first few beers established, we were drinking those beers.
Yeah.
And the beer from the previous month, because it takes about a month to ferment, and brewing the new beer for the next month. And then it quickly became a communal. The garage door was open. Neighbors started coming over, bringing food. And so
Homemade, the neighbors bringing over their homemade salsa, and we're all trying that, and with the peppers, everybody starts sharing the things they're making.
Yeah, before we knew it, there's 30 or 40 people hanging out in Blake's garage, and we're just listening to good music and drinking beer.
Would you rotate who would be on bucket brew duty each month? This month, I'm going to create this.
We all had our own setups. We could not spend enough money on our hobby at the beginning. Just everybody had their own brew system and buckets and everything. I started brewing on a turkey fryer initially that I got, and
it was friendly competition between the three of us. So we would enter our beers in competitions. So we were doing our own thing as far as what we were interested in. Yeah. And then we should maybe write a business plan and figure this out and see if we were all employed at the time, and then finally hit that point where we're like, okay, this is going to work. Let's quit our jobs and fully jump into this. And
Yeah.
terrifying.
How does that? So you said you're married.
Yeah.
Is everybody married?
No, I'm engaged.
But everybody
Blake,
has.
myself and Blake. Yeah.
But everybody has like full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to plan for my future, whatever that may be. Was that terrifying to be thinking we're gonna cash in what? To do what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big commitment early on because and both of us actually worked for in like a family business. So my dad started a business also, which honestly, I remember I think it was 6th grade, some presentation that the class did on entrepreneurs. And I remember watching that and thinking to myself, oh, wait, my dad's an entrepreneur. And then, like, from then on, I just had that idea and of what it was and I guess wanted to do. And so even though, like, I think it probably would have made a lot of sense to just do that with my dad, instead I was like, I want to do something on my own, be my own entrepreneur, you know?
Yeah.
And that was just my own personal thing. But we all just loved the craft of it. And also, I think everybody coming over and seeing that the sense of the community around it, everybody enjoying it so much. And then it's like, then you get that high of like creating something and sharing it with somebody. I think that's really the core of what makes this so enjoyable for me personally, is just that part of it. And so, yeah, that really gives you that incentive, that drive to want to build it into something big, I think, and create something and share it with everybody, the community that you grew up in. So yeah, that really was a big push. And then of course finding the location is because we tried to do it for a long time, like to start the brewery. We had the business plan, but we didn't have the right place to do it. And then once that became available, that's when things started to really lock in, and we hit the ground running. You know?
So what is the learning curve behind going from brewing in a bucket to a professional operation?
So I actually have a little bit of backstory to how I got into fermentation. And
I was gonna say, it just seems, I mean, it's just not something that people just say, I think I'm gonna try. Like, you have to know something about it. And that's what you're planning, the entrepreneurial, and you're planning the fermentation route, right?
Yeah, so I have a degree from UK in environmental science. And so I had a little bit of biology and chemistry background.
You're the mad scientist of the group.
I think we kind of all are at this point.
All
It's
our own ways, yeah.
So my goal out of college was to become a biologist. And so I took some jobs, took a really remote job on an island called Johnston Atoll. And I was there, 1 square mile island in the middle of the North Pacific with 4 other people. And we weren't, I can say this now because I'm not employed by Fish and Wildlife anymore, but we weren't allowed to have booze on the island.
That they didn't know about.
They didn't know. Well, so I started collecting coconuts and sea grapes and fermenting them in my tent. And so I was there for about 7.5 months. And I promised myself once I got home, I would try to make a proper beer or wine instead of this kind of like tent hooch in the middle of nowhere.
How do you make tent hooch?
You
Very carefully.
Very carefully.
Yeah. So I collected coconuts and scraped them out with her water, and there's available sugars in there too, and yeast is blowing around the air as we speak. So you can ferment island hooch on the table. Right.
Wow. Is it drinkable?
I thought so.
It'll get you through the tough times, right?
It looked like Pepto-Bismol, but it tastes like a pretty good Malbec.
When you're basically like stranded on an island for 7 months, absolutely anything will do.
That's all you got. Yeah.
And so what was like your idea of to create something that would be signature for Sawstone Brewery?
So that's with that wild fermentation. We do a lot of controlled fermentations, not mostly controlled fermentations, but there's a wild side to brewing where you can capture yeast and inoculate barrels. We often use whiskey barrels or wine barrels, whatever we can get our hands on. And so that was a dream of mine getting started, is to kind of have a barrel program. It's super small. It's still kind of going. And we have a friend in Robertson County, Turtleback Ridge Brewing, and we do this really lovely blending day. He has barrel stock as well, and we'll bring our barrel stock up to his farm, invite all of our friends and regulars and family, and have a blending day. And so we quietly take notes on what the beer will taste like, and then we get together and convene and actually blend together, and everybody has a say in it. And the beer is called All My Friends, and it's probably one of the like coolest things that I feel like we do.
Yeah. There's so many, I mean, there's a brewing culture there's in Louisville and in Lexington, Bowling Green, Owensboro. Why was it so important for you all to take this bet and bring it to your hometown, Morehead, Kentucky?
Yeah, well, I think, go ahead.
I think it's being it. Well, so we actually discovered mine anyway, like love for craft beer by coming up to Lexington and Louisville and places when they were like West Six, Country Boy, places like that were first starting out. And, before that, I didn't have any craft beer. And then you come up here and you experience that and you're like, wow, beer can be a lot more than what I thought it was. And then when we all decided to move back to our hometown, we were like, we've got to bring that with us, and that's one of the reasons we started home brewing too, is it's like we couldn't get craft beers there really. And so, I think wanting to bring that craft and culture back to our hometown to make it like a better, as good of a small town as we can make it for ourselves, our friends, our families, everything. We wanted to create more culture in our downtown.
I've talked to a lot of guests in smaller rural communities throughout Kentucky. And the one thing that I'm always taken by is that and I don't feel like mainstream media gives this near enough attention, is that there seems to be, and tell me if I'm wrong, there seems to be a culture and a move of younger people going back to their rural communities and saying, I'm not sitting here waiting on this industry X job to come to me and make me successful. I have the ideas. I'm going to create it myself and lift these people up. Do you feel that and see that, especially in Morehead and throughout East Kentucky?
Yeah, I think I think that's a way to describe Appalachia. Is there's so much creativity, not a lot of opportunity. The further away I left and went from home, and the longer I was away from home, and the older I got, it's like, home is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think I want to go back. And, but yeah, it's tough because there's not a lot of opportunity. You kind of have to make it. Create it if you can, We got very lucky in a lot of ways with a lot of hard work, but got very lucky.
Yeah. You opened right before COVID, 2019? 2019. You chose the Cozy Building, is that the name? For your headquarters, a century old, built from cut limestone or sawstone. So why was it important for you guys to put all that TLC into that historic building and make that your home base?
I mean, we all love history, I think, too, just in general, and just going into that building and seeing it, that was, and also that area too. That building had sat there for maybe 10 years empty, I think, at that point. But I just, you knew that corner could be so much more for our town. And so, going in there, seeing the inside, seeing the stone, I'd never seen something like that.
Really took us, we were doing a lot of the demo.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what the bones looked like. Yeah. And so once we started peeling off the third layer of plaster, the second layer of flooring, and you see all the bones are beautiful. We had no idea that the cut siltstone on the wall was even there.
Yeah.
And so then we cleaned it up and was like, this is lovely. We should leave it alone. And that's the origin of the name.
Yeah. Did you know the origin of the building with the sawstone before the renovation? Like, did you know, okay, that's going to be the name of our brewery?
Oh, no.
Or did it just happen?
Once we saw, like, we were trying to come up with a name, and we had a few that centered on different things, but then when we saw that, and I think inherently knew that was an important kind of piece of history for the town, and I think we wanted it to focus on the town, the area, more so.
Locale specific.
Yeah, and we named it after that. So, but that building, we took the supports that were upstairs. They were really long boards, and over 100 years old, and we took them downstairs and we actually put them on the front of the bar. So the boards on the front of that are over 100 years old, and we built it with. And then the basement was built in 1865. I had a local historian there I walked through with and told me all about it. A lot of cool stories about that building. Round County War happened right across from it. Morehead is actually now a historic district, and Tony, who's our neighbor at the brewery, helped make a lot of that happen. So, I love being a part of that history part. Like that, I think, is what anchors the brewery and local businesses to the community in that way too, right? Like everybody's there now and experiencing it, but also you have the roots of what it was before. Other people remember about the building. It's really cool.
And community is at the heart of everything you do there. And you said just from even your home brew days to what you have now, how do you continue to honor community and make the community like an integral part of your business?
Yeah, the community has commandeered our space. It's kind of grown into this, which you always want, but it's really hard to put on paper and do. But it's been commandeered. We had a regular say that it feels like Morehead's living room, which is like really wonderful compliment.
Yeah.
But we're all the time, we work with the city and municipalities to try to get events going, and you can speak on, you've done a lot of that too in Ashland as well.
Right.
And
that was such a core part of our original business plan was so heavily community focused, and that because another thing too, part of our branding, if you've seen it, any of it, it'll say Prohibition ruined everything. That's because per capita, the country as a whole had so many more breweries, and every town had like a local tavern. Some of them, they would go vote there. It was a lot more of an important piece of the communities back then. And then of course Prohibition just wiped it all out, and then you get it all concentrated instead to just a few breweries. So that's been reversing a lot recently, which has been great, and that's what we are really happy to be a part of. But we wanted to take that spirit too and try to do the same kind of thing in Ashland. So that has been, again, working with the city up there to try and create that atmosphere, create a place up there that Ashland can kind of own. It's called Sawstone Brewing River Room. It's a different name, different branding and it's ran with people from Ashland too. So that was something that thought might be hard to replicate, but we tried it up there, and I think it's going really well. I think it's become the same kind of thing where you have this core group of people in that community that treat it that way, and that's kind of what we really wanted to try and replicate up there. That's what we did really well in our hometown, and tried to do it there too. But yeah, it takes a partnership with the people and the city and everything to try and make that happen.
Do you showcase a lot of the artwork from the community in the brewery too?
Yeah, everything hanging is local artists. We know them, we're friends with them. They're typically sitting at the bar having a beer. We've also,
like you said, it is Morehead's living room.
That's right. And we've done through the community, have done some really cool philanthropic events with the floods in Southeast Kentucky. We raised quite a bit of money that day. And we have a lot of little small things in town. I think around County Christmas, we always try to do something for that too. But there's always something that we're trying to do. We can't do a whole lot. We're a small shop.
Yeah. Going to pause for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the beer. We have to talk about the beer, the names, what goes into it, and what's next. We're coming right back with more on Sawstone Brewing. I grew up in a Ford family. My dad worked at the Louisville Ford assembly plant. And it wasn't just a brand for us, it was a way of life. And that's the thing about Ford, is that they're woven into a part of our culture here in Kentucky and across America. So no matter where life's adventures may take you, Town & Country Ford is along for the ride. And welcome back. I'm sitting down with Derek Caskey, Nick Holland with Sawstone Brewing, just a bunch of buddies that decided we like our home brew days and let's do a business. And now it is one of the fastest growing breweries in the East Kentucky area. And it's not only a place where they're doing good business, and you guys are just really, you're giving back to your community in so many ways. You were explaining like how people now are seeing the success and saying, what can we do to be a part of this? That has to be like the greatest compliment in the world, that they see it and they want to be a part of it and move it forward.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We've had, we've seen a lot of growth, or we've tried to expand things. We've had people also reach out and say, "Can you send us beer to this faraway place?" Which is really crazy to see, but which is just really hard on a smaller scale. That we started on our 3-barrel system, which barrels 31, so 93 gallons at a time. And that's at our tap room in Morehead. And then we built a production facility in the county, which is 10 barrels. So that's 310 gallons at a time. So we've started to try and expand our reach, with the Ashland location, but also trying to get into distribution more and things like that. So, but yeah, it's been a great journey to continue to grow and continue to expand the reach and have people that really, I think, resonate with what we're doing. It's a good feeling.
You touched a little bit on this kind of this prohibition style that you have. You've really leaned into the varieties, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a brewmaster. Cream ale, right? And Kentucky Common. So why did you bet on those prohibition style heritage beers rather than just chasing what's trendy?
I think because we thought it was unique.
Yeah.
And again, back to our love of history, and the history of the Kentucky Common is great. A style that was born in Louisville that survived Prohibition. Before Prohibition, I think I've read that 75% of the beer drank in Louisville was the Kentucky Common style. And so we kind of wanted to throw back and brew it as traditional as we thought we could, with a big portion of it being corn and 6-row barley, which we source locally from South Fork Malt House.
Yeah.
It's grown and malted in Cynthiana, and it's truly a taste of the state.
Yeah.
The history of the state in beer form.
So how many different varieties do you have now? How many different ales?
Ooh, I think we're up to 18.
Nick looks at me like, I got to count all that. I don't know.
No way.
Like that many.
I
Like,
think we're up to 17 right now.
really?
Well, I also just do a lot of one-off stuff. Like having that smaller system just gives the opportunity to be creative all the time. We brew our main flagships at the larger facility, but then downtown, I'll just find some new hop or something and just want to try something different, and I will. I wanted to learn how to make seltzers, and I just did. And, just having that available to really go down there and just like push your ability to be creative. And it's just, and like I said, when it's rewarding to be able to share that with customers and then say, oh, that actually ended up great. So, yeah. And I guess they don't tell me if there's bad ones.
Right. Just tell them, founder. Just tell them it's good.
Right.
What are some of the names? Because I'm just looking at the artwork on the cans, and some of the names are super creative.
Yeah.
And where do you get them?
So we don't really have a formula or anything for the names, as you can tell.
That's sometimes like the best thing, though.
And that's the beauty, I think, of our spot too, is all 3 of us brew. And so having too many cooks in the kitchen, I think, is a good thing.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling inspired by whatever, and to brew, to make beer, and then, it's your responsibility to come up with a name, or if you can holler. Sometimes I'm like, Nick, I need help with this one.
Yeah.
I think Olden in the Way, which is one of our main beers, it's a light lager. That one, actually, I think you'd come up with.
Yeah.
Old and Away.
Olden in the Way.
Old and in the Way.
Yeah. I think, isn't it a Jerry Garcia folk album or something?
Yeah, well, he was in a bluegrass band, and that was the name of the band. And it's also a nod to that style. Coming out of Prohibition, we were limited to kind of the big commercial styles that were low ABV, light American lagers. That's what that style is. So it's kind of a nod to the old, kind of get out of the way, let the craft come in for a little bit.
I think there's Kentucky known for bourbon. We have a craft brewery trail now. Yeah. I think, what is it about the ingredients that would go into this that you think has made this such a success for Kentucky in general, and is just as popular as bourbon? Yeah,
I think honestly, for one of the same reasons that bourbon does so well here, the water is a big piece of that. I mean, water chemistry is a big part of brewing in the same way that it is for bourbon. Not that I know a ton about how it's made, but yeah, I think that. But it definitely is a big piece of beer making. And then of course we have the grain that we get from Cynthiana, and I think like 90% at this point is local. So yeah, I mean,
we also have access to great barrels. And so I think there's a lot of really great beer in the state. There's a lot of great breweries in the state. And yeah, I think all those things combined make for a really nice product.
A lot of people say, don't go into business with your friends. What is it about this dynamic that works?
I think we know every nook and cranny of each other's personalities, so there's no hiding.
Yeah.
yeah, I think just, and also I think it's actually helped a lot when it comes to starting a business like this, where we're always bouncing ideas off of each other constantly, right?
Yeah.
Like any idea for a beer, or, you know, and it also makes all of us better brewers, I think, too, because you can say, oh, I experimented with this and this is how it went, or whatever. So we're always kind of helping each other, or you know, if anybody needs anything, or so it's always been that spirit. I think has helped a lot. Just in general, it's been great. I don't know, or there being 3-2 maybe helps if like if there's like conflict resolution, you've got a tiebreak or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been good so far.
And it sounds like each of you contribute something very specific and unique to the success. Like your expertise is, you know, you offer something. There's just something that everybody offers that makes it work.
Yeah, it does kind of take the
You
load.
got secret sauce.
It does kind of take the load off when
Yeah.
you have to spend some time learning about the tax system and what you need. And somebody also needs to be focused on the beer as well.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to have the three of us to spread out a little bit and take the pressure off and hopefully do everything as well as we can.
Yeah. At what point did you all quit your other jobs?
I think it was about, a few months before we opened?
I was doing, I still worked at.
Yeah, that's
Campus
right.
for a
Yeah, I was
few
the first one
months.
to quit.
And then I think I could tell it was getting pretty difficult to do but alone. So I came in and started too. And then we're the only ones that are doing full-time. Blake still has his full-time job at the university right across from us. But yeah, it was pretty quick though that I think we realized it was going to take a lot of work.
Was that terrifying to think we are quitting our full-time jobs to open a brewery?
Absolutely terrifying. But I think a little bit of ignorance is what got me through anyway.
Has there been a Friday night Taproom is filled moment, or a moment where you're out working where you look around and realize, oh, wow, we really did this, and there's like still room to grow?
It happens to me almost every week still.
Yeah, I mean, just especially all of the big events that we have there, like DMI throws a lot of events through the city and things like that. And when you go there and you see so many people from Morehead there, it always makes me feel really proud to see kind of what we've created and seeing everybody sharing in it. Any of those big events like the Derby Day, Fire Freedom Fest.
Hey, you had your chance. President of Churchill Downs was here, man. You guys, I saw you all. Come on out, you know?
So cool,
yeah, you never know. So what is next?
Well, we're continuing to kind of grow the brand and, we feel like East Kentucky is a little bit nascent. There's some really great breweries in East Kentucky. Adonis is out there. They're our neighbors in Ashland. They're actually in Russell. Turtleback Ridge, but, to try to pump up that craft beer community in East Kentucky, which I think is what we need.
You ready for the rapid fire round?
Let's go.
All right. The questions that I never clear with anybody. All right. Cream ale or Kentucky Common?
Ooh, we might have a difference.
See, I told you these were the tough questions.
So Kentucky Common for me.
I'm going to have to say cream ale.
So Nick makes the cream.
I make the cream ale.
You got to go with one. A flight of 4 or a full pint?
Full pint.
I'm going to go flight of 4. I really like mixing it up.
the taproom deck or the main bar?
A deck on a nice day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brewing day or opening night?
Brewing day.
Brewing day. Brewing days are, those are the good days.
Can you imagine the smell of that? Oh, yeah. Live music or trivia night?
I want to go with live music, although I do love trivia.
Yeah. I mean, can we both? I don't know. I like them both.
You
a
all
lot.
probably could.
Yeah.
Historic renovation or new construction?
Historic renovation.
Yeah, definitely.
Local ingredients or exotic hops?
Local ingredients.
Yeah, definitely.
Morehead State football or basketball?
Basketball.
We have a football player that's working with us now, so I'm gonna say football.
Oh, there you go. A cold beer on a hot summer day or a stout by the fire?
A cold beer on a hot summer day.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, and since we're in Kentucky, do you bet on the jockey or the horse?
Ooh, horse.
Yeah, horse.
Horse. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Claudia.
I loved hearing. Thank you for sharing the story. I think people hear those stories and you just don't know who else that's going to inspire.
Thank you.
So thank you for taking that chance, man. Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching the podcast. No matter where you're watching this right now, please leave a review because that gets the word out about this particular podcast. So until next week, have a good one, everybody. Cheers.